Hey guys, welcome back to Living Room. You're here with your boy Hot Chili.
Mo. And you believe it.
We also have our special guest today.
T.
Yep. Today we're going to be talking on the topic of alternative medicine. Want to start us off, Larsmy?
Yeah, so I was doing some getting into some old, maybe not primitive, but some older form of healing. And a lot of people in Eastern culture, they use acupuncture, things like that, to alter your chakras and your inner being. And one of the ways they do it is the way chakra improves your physical. It kind of helps your metabolism. It helps with detoxification, strengthen your immune system. It also helps things like anxiety, mental fatigue, and depression. Those all diminish when your chakras are a lot better. And some of the ways you can align your chakra better is through like yoga, certain types of meditation, and yeah, those are ways that people would heal without necessarily.
What's the book you're reading off of right now?
It's called The Handbook of Chakra Healing by Kalashatra Gupta. What is chakra? Fuck is chakra?
That's a good starting point.
So chakra is kind of like a spiritual energy that of your body. So kind of like your not necessarily like what makes up your soul, but the inner spiritual energy of your body. Like electrical signals. Not necessarily electrical, like it could be flowing just in your body flowing. And I believe it usually it flows like circularly to the right or something. Yeah. And I don't think it has to do with whether you're right-handed or left-handed. It did for a while. I have to. Because like the yin and yang, right? Like it goes like kind of weird. Chakra's weird as shit.
I think that's like interesting because there's a lot of stuff coming back like apparently antibiotic properties. Yeah. And I feel like there's some merit to the stuff like our ancestors were doing. We just don't know exactly what it is. Like, we can't really quantify it right now.
That shit. And I think that's why a lot of people are against it because there's not like the scientific proof to understand how this stuff is working and why it's working. Right. Way away from it. Well, I mean, like, just because we don't know why it works doesn't mean because, like, we were talking before with the suction cups and shit, and the nipples on your body. Like, even Michael Phelps, like the greatest swimmer, him in the Olympics. Like, we always looked at Eastern medicine as something that doesn't work.
So Western medicine has been dominated for, like centuries now, but it's important to know that Eastern medicine has really, and like being Chinese myself, I know that they developed things like Tylenol, like basic cold pills in China because they use like natural remedies such as like Bang, and they did more like intensive such as like acupuncture, which targets the chakra, and like there's just so many.
But doesn't that also stem from the fact that another reason I said like I guess like quote unquote like the price because like American companies are getting the funding they need for research for medicine up and make a generic brand, right? Like, do you think that like Western medicine is dominating because the amount to making like factual medicine that we know works versus just goes by word of mouth?
So I think because Western medicine is more effective on. So if you take a Tylenol pill, you'll see a day or two. But but Chinese medicine is very gradual. You have to do sessions over and over, healing the general process.
So I think what you're saying, Mo, like the thing with Eastern medicine is that
there's like no studies behind it.
Yeah, they don't need to study it because like they think because their ancestors, it's gonna work for them, and a lot of times it does happen. So a company in the U.S. isn't gonna study red ginseng, for example, because they don't like see the merit in trying to.
Don't see the profit.
Yeah, exactly. Because if another company can just make red ginseng under like a nutrition supplement label, then there's gonna be no profit. Yeah. Even though it might work better than LPM or something.
I mean, like a lot of like Eastern medicine is different as Western medicine. The ones that's been passed down to like grandma in Afghanistan. Like we call it there's this thing called chas. It means weed, like marijuana, or it also means opium.
Oh.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's it's with a T. Taryak. And that's literally like when you opiate flour and you bleed it. And like over there, like before there was fucking morphine, before there was any sort of type of like painkiller, take the sap, take a little bit here and there, and it helped them.
I mean, that's the thing, like, when we figure out a way to take this Eastern medicine and work advantage of us here, like, heroin, morphine, all that stuff was a derivative of the opium.
Yeah. You need it to make another.
Exactly. So once you start doing that, you don't call it whatever it was before. You change the name, you sell it, you have a way to profit off of it.
But we also synthesize. Like, there's more, just the FDA alone, like, again, going medicine has merit. It takes an extremely long time for any sort of medicine to pass on animals and actual testing and whatever.
and you need a lot of damn money.
Yeah.
I feel like Eastern nations put that profit, not the
Well,
profit, but
it's not that they're not willing. Like a lot of companies willing, but there's no incentive to help make like the next big drug.
yeah,
Like populace is starving or something, you know?
yeah,
Like
that's
people
true.
don't want to work on that when they can do it.
And especially since their ways of healing and their types of medicine are need that new drug to help with our system. They
Mhm.
probably have some only recipe for medicine that'll help. Anything like that. Like it's not necessarily like America where we don't have these like in-home cultures do. So we need to go out and get new medicines to help us stay healthy.
Yo, but on the fuck medicine.
What?
True.
Honestly, like I feel healthier now, and this is gonna be so much science. So like
Bro, science.
everybody needs to put on some tinfoil. Like Tylenol has fucked me up more times than me.
Really?
I'm like, yeah, like a peptic ulcer. Because like something Tylenol does, is like, the more you
And the
like,
less effective it is too.
the less effective it is. Like usually when I have a headache, like I either gotta shit, I either gotta sleep it off, or it's one of the three. It's like if you can do all three at once, like you don't need Tylenol, bro.
True. Yeah, and on a more serious note, the opiate epidemic has been growing strongly because doctors are more power hungry money now more than their patients. So instead of giving some covered by insurance, they prescribe Fentanyl or like very strong painkillers related to opiates. And if you see in the hemisphere, a lot of doctors do not make that much money prescribing these.
I feel like there is a thing with that though. Like a lot of doctors, it's not that they're being forced or bribed. It's just the company that's selling these opiates. They know. Like if a company has a new drug, they're gonna go to their doctors right away, and then the doctor will see the drug and think, maybe this will help a bit more. The doctor isn't the one looking at the price tag. We as patients and like prescription getting at the price tag, doctors are not.
Yeah,
That's not always the case though, but chemotherapy, like statistically works maybe for almost all cancer patients. The doctor's gonna recommend chemotherapy. They recommend chemotherapy. It's an expensive process. So if the chemotherapy and the patient goes through it, the doctor gets a little bit cut that vacation wherever. Even though it doesn't work 3% of the time, like usually hard, then it helps. It's not if you're not part of that 3%. So like in terms of chemotherapy, it's really a money game for most doctors who prescribe it because it doesn't really work. But yet, every cancer patient you're gonna prescribe chemotherapy less than 10%.
but like chemotherapy is like the worst case scenario, best case solution. Like it's like your last sort of answer. But as to like what Aaron, it's alright. I eat ass. But like one. But as to what Hot Tamale was saying, right? I have a really close buddy, who's a doctor now. He goes to a big hospital, and he was telling me like there's just a big fucking between like what the doctors know and what the pharmacists and all like the account for that from the hospital do.
Yeah.
So like I mean I feel like there's a reason why like opioid epidemic is so much bigger here in America than in I don't know like how factual that is, but like medicine's a lot more expensive here. You know,
Way
like
more.
opioid producing company would much rather sell where you can charge like $500 for like a fucking tactic or however much that is. But like I feel like there's more profit to have it here. And I was like the pressure on my way, they're like soldiers. They took painkillers and they just got caught up.
And that's the thing, right? Like, I don't want to tell people to stop taking medicine. Like, I would always say take whatever. But a lot of these treatments taken with, like, even exercise would be considered healthy. Because if you're taking that with whatever you're doing, that might help you mend your body, metabolize it. Like, there's a lot of things you do for your body. Yeah, that with taken with your regulation might end up doing even better than taking.
Also, some of the consumers towards medicine also because for me, when I went to Honduras, we worked with and a lot of these people did not go to school. I think like the education was it.
Very low,
Yeah, so it's very low. So we had people come with major problems. Some with major problems, like things such as like not even a common cold, just like cough, and they'd be like, "Oh, amoxicillin," which is basically just like yeah, they want that for everything. Even if you get your foot cut off, I want amoxicillin.
My cousins in Europe have the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
They're probably on antibiotics 5 times a year for a fucking cough.
Yeah, and they think it helps, but like
Yeah.
it's you're desensitizing your body. It's not gonna. You're gonna gradually become defensive.
That's why I don't even take
No.
vaccines cause autism. Dude, I swear I saw like a 14-second Instagram video. He lied. Like it has to be factual.
One thing that I think that people expect too, it doesn't placebo.
Yeah.
Where if you think it's dull, it may or may not physically do what you need it to. Think it's gonna work, your body kind of makes it, or like gets you what you need from it. Like one time, this is But I was at my friend's house, right? And he had told me, yo, there's lean in the apple juice. And I was like, oh, really? So, like, I was drinking some apple juice, and, like, 30 minutes later, I was feeling tired. Like, I was lounging, my eyes were squinted, I was just sitting at the TV. I was like, damn. And then he was the same way. Like, I really thought that. And maybe, like, a week later, I'm hanging out with him. Yo, that lean in the apple juice is good as shit. He was like, yo, what are you talking about?
Oh,
And I was like, wow. Like,
jeez.
I really basically made myself tired because I thought this juice was tired.
So is a placebo alternative medicine? Because it's like we kind of know it works. There's been some studies done, some research, but it's like nothing just like So it's like where's the distinction between alternative medicine and medicine that actually?
So to answer your question a little bit, I took in health ethics class last term about like the ethics of medicine, and the reason why we don't have a lot of information is because it's unethical to prescribe someone proper medicine. So although like maybe
They don't know, right?
yeah, they don't know, and then like
Don't.
they're getting treated, and then like if you in cases one person will die, and so it's dangerous to prescribe pills, but it is shown to work like on a lesser scale, maybe like for a cold, like pain.
Because like the thing with placebos is just that I feel like it's a hit or miss. Because like if it works for 7 out of 12, does it still work? Like where's like the math? Yeah, you can't put like
just at the mental.
yeah, I'd have to like I don't know what's up with my body, and I'm actually gonna have to go do a lot of blood work. A lot of is it Narcan? It's like when like you're getting stitches and they have like or sutures and you have to get like anesthesia part of your body. The anesthesia doesn't work for me.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Like I guess I don't know. My body's not metabolizing it. I don't know whatever's going on, but like, I probably get way too many stitches for a normal person. It's stupid, but it's like it never works. And like each time they've tried different forms, it doesn't work. So does that mean Western medicine doesn't work, or my body?
Underneath, like, have you done blood work to say that, like, oh, there's something in your body that's misleading you back?
The doctors don't know. I don't know what exactly is making me hurt. They just know that I'm kind of like bad and pain.
Invincible.
Yeah, like.
Do they suggest like oh sorry. Do they try to keep
Well, for like I had like a cut on my arm. And I don't know if I'm legally allowed to say they gave me higher dosages, but heck no, with no law of remorse. They did give more juice and it. So I don't know what it is exactly. That's like my Western body, my like Adonis body, not to like take in any sort of anesthesia.
That's interesting. I mean, it also has to do with the body chemistry. I thought apparently, I think it's redheads. They have to take like 10 to 15% more anesthesia. Yeah, it's really odd.
Wasn't it because like if you're a redhead, chances are you're not.
No, like
Is Reddit lying to me? Is Reddit not real?
like I'm not sure, but it just has something to do with the body chemistry, and that's something that's gonna happen more. Like that individualized medicine is gonna start to becoming more and more of a reality.
I was gonna say, I heard chicks that have a different scent. They just smell a little different.
What?
I don't know why.
Where
Like,
did you get this from?
every single one of like, have you heard it too, bro?
No,
It's just
that
me.
sounds preposterous. Like,
I don't know, bro. Like you're meeting a person that anesthesia doesn't work on. Maybe redhead like the brown boys. So it's like it might never work out. I can't test this out,
Also, I think body chemistry has something to do with it because the reason why Eastern medicine is so much, I guess, easier to get and like because they're all not necessarily like the same race or anything, but they all have that same body for that area.
Yeah.
So the medicines that they use to treat themselves, and because the U.S. and like Europe are so diverse,
Yeah.
we don't have those root things that'll help us because it won't work for everyone.
But
It's not mainstream.
there are other countries as diverse or more. It's like Mexico is one of the most diverse countries, and their research costs are not high as much.
Well, isn't also because like Mexico has pharmaceutical things going on. I mean, I saw the last Logan movie.
No, I mean that is true because in
Like, there's no such thing as like an FDA in a lot of countries.
that's true because I was in Mexico like 5-6 years ago, and that's probably why they're asking for antibiotics because like that that's just what's available to you. Like you can get antibiotics, amoxicillin, all that kind of stuff like off the counter.
Yeah. Even in I don't know about off the counter in Europe, but you can get. What happened? I think I fractured my wrist or something a few weeks ago.
Why do you keep fucking up, Mo? Come on.
I don't know how it happened too. I just woke up and my hand. Maybe I fell out like went out the bed. I was drunk half the time there, so I I went to like a quick clinic, and they were getting ready to like prescribe me and shit. I was like, dude, that's so weird. But granted, it was like an Afghan, so I feel like there's definitely some sort of like
You're just giving me a good
cultural
time.
nepotism going on there. It's weird. But Eastern medicine, like I guess like Eastern medicine. I was having like a discussion yesterday with a friend. Like, so the idea was like, do people perceive color differently? Like your red might not be red. How do you?
I have this conversation with someone before.
All right, let me hear your
Go
opinion.
ahead.
I love this
Finish
conversation.
what you were saying.
Like that was the idea, right? Like me and her had the argument that like whether or not people perceive color, whether or not one color is actually one color. So what do you think?
So for color, like scientifically, it's a wavelength.
Yeah.
So the wavelength is the light's bouncing off that for whatever color it is. That wavelength will bounce off, and that's what we see.
Yeah.
But for person to person, we might not be translating that wave on the same way. So what I see is blue would be like slightly more greenish for any reason. And there's no way to actually, because we can't see through your eyes, so you can say yeah, that's blue, but your perception of blue could be slightly different than my perception.
That's the key word, right? It's perception. Like as you said, like color is when like it's light hitting some sort of electron that bounces, and that energy is the color you see, right? Like that color is that frequency of the light. It's always gonna be that. Just because you perceive it differently doesn't mean it's not that. Like if a tree fell in the woods and no one was there, the sound.
Well, no, because the sound is the perception of the vibration.
It's not the perception; it is the vibration of particles.
It's,
through the
it's the
medium.
feeling.
No, sound is it's our brain's perception of vibrations.
But then, isn't sound is just a vibration that goes through a medium? Just because we don't hear it doesn't mean it's sound.
But which is crazy because our different senses perceive different things differently. Like smell is the movement through a medium. Taste,
Real shit.
yeah,
Yo.
taste is the movement of, it is the sense of molecules over your taste. Like all of these things are just different
I never
things.
knew that. I really never understood what fucking smell or taste was. I just know when I get like sinus infections, I'm dead.
No, but I thought sound it's perception. Like the physical act of anything happening is just it's not sound until we perceive it.
No.
Until we hear.
Is it like lightning and thunder?
So sound is sound is just its own. Like sound is static, but the way we perceive sound, like music, rhythm, beats, all that
Hearing.
stuff. I guess. But so the way all that works is you take all that sound around you and turn it into something for you. Like if you hear the sound of a train coming, train tracks, you're gonna assume a train is right. But like,
Yes.
but let's say I had a friend in high school and they could literally not interpret music into rhythm.
What?
Why?
Yeah.
No,
But it was really interesting because any music, country music, rap, rock, it all sounded like sound to him. Like his brain couldn't connect all the different sounds together. All he heard was just like a static. And when like I asked him, okay, clap your hands to the sound. This is what he did. He's like, and the beat was like he couldn't interpret that altogether because he heard different sounds, trumpet, a piano, an accordion, but all that together, he just heard it all as a jump.
Dude, that's so weird.
Yeah, it is.
That would suck.
Yeah, that's definitely something to do with the brain too. We learned in anatomy that different parts of the parts, different things. So like, for example, if people, I don't remember where it was, it might have been thalamus that interprets the sound. So if you have a messed up hypothalamus, then like you will interpret sound differently. In between some of these things, so like, a big thing that we learned was smell is not associated with hearing or scent or like eyesight. So for example, if you're in your room, if you can smell the fire, if you can't smell, you won't wake up. But if you can hear the fire spark, then you'll wake up.
That's the thing with sinus infections.
Yeah, it goes to different parts of the brain. Yeah.
If you can't smell a food, you won't be able to taste it.
Exactly, because it goes completely different. So if it's not linked properly.
Isn't there also part of the brain like if it's shrunk, so the chances of you being associated with it higher?
There was a documentary about that, but they're still studying that because the research isn't conclusive.
Yeah.
Because the same guy that did that research found that he was 100% likely to be associated with that.
What?
Well,
Yeah.
like, have you guys read the psychopath test? Like Swan.
That's definitely it.
So, like, it's something Ron Johnson, but I definitely recommend you psychopath. It's really fucking crazy.
I could be a Because I have these weird ass that are just like.
When somebody's like, Eastern medicine suck.
No,
Like,
like, sometimes
chocolate
I
isn't
see,
real.
like sometimes I've seen like really small,
Yeah.
and like I'd say like if I wanted to kick this kid, like, just literally kick the shit out of this kid.
And they
That's
can't
How
everybody.
far do I think I could kick him? Like,
I
could
feel like
I
that's
punch
everybody
him
though.
20 yards? Like,
Yes, you can.
that's a really like avid thought in my mind when I just see.
Does it happen often?
Well, kind of.
Not
Not necessarily with all small children,
But
thought
selected.
Maybe you just hate kids.
but I'm not a small kid.
Jeez, dude.
I mean, going to a lighter note, the oatmeal,
Oatmeal.
theoatmeal.com, he's like an artist online. He has a bunch of these small quizzes. It's just like, how many toddlers can you take on a date? And it's really funny.
Oh, I could take a lot.
Like
You think so?
200.
I don't know, dude. Once they start piling up,
Nah,
the
I-
weight adds. Yo. The weight adds.
Well, after
I don't
100
know.
toddlers, they're just gonna like swarm.
I feel like I'd have too much. Just mowing through a crowd of toddlers.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think that passes on the psych test. That might be a sign.
What are we even on?
I don't know. Dude.
So,
Such a
okay,
tangent.
another part of alternative medicine, which I think is really interesting, and which like doesn't get enough credit, is like meditation. Its effect on mental health. I feel like mental health is hugely undercut in the U.S. system, like medicine, because of how like, even if you treat it with drugs and stuff, you kind of just suppress it. You don't like cure it.
Yeah.
You can only treat it as a problem. Meditation.
So, not necessarily meditation specifically, but it really, meditation kind of just helps center yourself, center your mind, not necessarily focus on one thing to keep the distractions away. You're not necessarily naturally healed, but naturally, I guess, factory centered. Because when you're out in the world and doing all the business that you need to do, like the time to rest and to time to to do to kind of get that extra boost of energy happen. So meditation kind of gives you the second to sit down, don't think. Your body gets to clear your mind, clear your thoughts, and it helps you, just.
I feel like that's an aspect of overstimulation.
Yeah.
That's all the time. Your brain never really like chill. Like the second like you get bored and like your brain's trying to melt Facebook or Instagram, you never really like just give your head enough time to just relax.
I messed with I was in this class when I was in high school. Like my high school had yoga classes,
I had
and
yoga class, don't worry.
I wish.
like a big thing that I did in high school was the idea of meditation and trying to like terrible sleeping habits. Was like I don't have the time to sleep the 8 hours. Like I have too much work to do than that. But like if I give myself an hour to meditate, to calm down from what I'm doing, that 1 hour better than like the best nap I've ever taken.
Really?
Because just giving yourself time to stop thinking, like stop focusing on anything. I feel like it should be super important. I didn't read the full article. I probably should have. But they're trying to do this thing instead of time out, like give children time to meditate or time to think on their actions. Like it's not a time where they feel like they're being mistreated. It's a time when they can.
Yeah. I like can't. But when I read a book and like my mind is focusing on one particular like I find myself like I'm much more patient. Like I can like especially during a school year, like when I never have time to read a book, I'm always thinking about like all right, 2 hours I'm moving around, I can't read a chapter properly.
On the weekends, even now, like I can't sit down for more than an hour because I'm tempted to do something else.
Yeah, like, you feel bad for sitting down.
Yeah.
And doing
I was
nothing.
like, I don't deserve this relaxing right now.
And a lot of people feel like not necessarily that they don't have time to really physically can't, like their mind is too active on to actually sit down and take the time.
That's what I
to
start
think about actually being able to meditate. Benefits is getting yourself to not think about much, getting yourself to sit down, take 30 minutes and actually just not necessarily think about what you have to do, but
Cooling down.
cool down. Relax. Everything you have to worry about, wait 30 just actually.
And I guess like the Western medicine approach, like fucking, what do they give for kids with like ADD and ADHD?
Yeah.
That like makes you super focused, right? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily cool
Okay.
you down.
So I don't have ADHD or anything, but I've taken vitamins to try to be like educated, but like it's not. It makes you focus, but there are other things you
Makes you
focus. Like
crash.
yeah, you crash hard, you sleep, no appetite. I got so jittery and I got so anxious. I just like cried for a whole hour when I was coming up.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I didn't think that would happen because it's literally just that for themselves. But it's like you feel like so like I feel so wrong. Like my blood was like going so slow, my fingers are cold as fuck, you know, like things like that. It's just not super effective.
And we're giving that to like kids, you know.
Yeah, because they and like you know a big part that's a little bit of a tangent in Asia. I've noticed that like places like India and China illness rate because well from my not like personal experience but from personally like people in China believe in illnesses. So if you have like severe depression, they'll just be like this bitch is being sad, you know, because like, they don't believe it happened there. So I don't know. Do you think like the right way to handle illnesses is to like first of all accept that it's there, and then second of all like not medicine as much? Or...
So it's the same way in Mexico. Like grandma's old school Mexican. Like when I got diagnosed with my chronic migraine, like she didn't believe that was a thing. Like even CT scans were like, he's totally has this. Like all that didn't explain the because in a lot of people's heads it's that same thing. Like they don't understand medicine, so they see the brain as organ.
Yeah.
So you have to treat it like the same way you treat like your heart. But no, like the brain is totally different. The brain is so complex, that the way you treat it is way more one and done. I feel the way we have to treat mental illness a lot of times is more in that Eastern philosophy, like slow and steady. And like I guess if China doesn't right now, like we have to get people throughout the world toward that. You can't solve things in one. Like the U.S. approach is super like works for specific things, but it also might not be a way to solve questions, you know?
Yeah. But even then, like we are right at the tip, like the starting point.
Oh yeah.
And then they gave a fuck, dude. Like
You're crazy.
yeah, back in my first co-op, like a lot of people there they worked like they did too much welding or they did too much of this particular, which would lead to mental health and physical problems. Or they had a physical problem that led to a mental health problem. They fucked up their shoulder, you can't hold your grandchild. And like the idea of like you have some sort of problem in your head, like that's our generation. Like, hey, you know, if you've been sad for 8 years, there might be something more than just where you're at.
Okay. On that note, we're gonna leave this for our part 2. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. We want to thank our guest T for joining us in the living room. You can join the conversation on Twitter. We are at 3ColoredDudes. You can support us by reviewing us on iTunes. And we are also accepting donations now to pay for hosting and the like. If you go to patreon.com/3ColoredDudes. We'll see you soon. Peace.